if you want to see what the public thinks about something, read through the replies. I know I say never read the replies. Don't react to them. You don't have to respond to them, right? But just go read the replies to the ReignMakers videos. And there's a lot of, I'm not going to get involved in this because it costs money. I get that, right? A lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. I'm not interested in this because it's just a way for DraftKings to improve their income and their stock price. Isn't that literally everything that every public company does with everything that they're selling? Daily fantasy and sportsbook also exists to boost the value of the company. That's what a business does. You know, you just described business. But the most prevalent one is that people are scared that somebody who is a high stakes player and operates in the legendary or Reignmaker tiers and buys packs at those levels is just going to overwhelm them like a tsunami in core. They're just going to envelop them and that they can't compete with those guys. I don't see that happening.
He's a legend.
Ruthless says they're playing in first class. They don't mess with economy. Exactly. So like Ruthless and I have had a history of being professional gamblers, so to speak, for the last 20 years or so. So I think that the two of us probably have a different outlook on the way that high stakes players think and act when it comes to allocation of time, assets, or resources than the general population. So what I'm telling you from experience, let's use poker as an example. There's nothing stopping a $100, $200 cash game player in poker from playing 10-cent, 20-cent games in poker. They could do it. They could just sit there, right? Online, right? Where you could 10 table stuff. They're not going to do it because it's stupid. They could just play another 100, 200 table. They could play 6 of them, 10 of them, 50 of them, whatever their brain can process, because they're going to try and maximize their bets per hour. I don't remember exactly what you want to average 2 big bets an hour if you're playing limit. I don't know what the calculation is for no limit or PLO or whatever, but like, you want to get as many hands in at your profitable levels as you can because that's your salary, so to speak. Variance being what it is, swings being what it is. But if you have a beatable level, if you're a 30-60 player, you're not going to play 3-6 because you can't, you're wasting your time. You're costing yourself money. When it comes to now porting that over to ReignMakers, if you have lineups to make at ReignMakers tier, if you have 2 ReignMakers, 4 ReignMakers, 6 ReignMakers, because it takes 2 minimum to build a lineup, and then you need 3 other legendary players to build out a viable lineup at those levels. One, you've spent a lot of money to play in that tier, and that's going to be the smallest player pool for the same amount of prizes. So you're going to have 100 people splitting 200K as opposed to 100,000 people splitting 100 or 200K at core. So it behooves you to give yourself the best opportunity at winning money in the higher tiers because you're playing against less people, right? It's not worth their time. You have to, it's not like daily fantasy either. That's the other part of the disconnect, right? There's nothing stopping somebody who plays in the $333 tournament and max enters that from also max entering the $3 tournament, right? Because you can put all the lineups in your My Lineups page and then go bulk enter every game in the lobby, right? You one click and you're done, and you've entered you can enter thousands of lineups with tens of clicks. You can't do that in ReignMakers. Every lineup is built by hand. You know, you are Bob the Builder. You've got your hard hat on. You got the whole Peter Overzet bit, the orange vest, everything. You're not going to build 5. You're not going to spend the time that it takes to build the 5 lineups with a max expectation if you come in first of 30K at the ReignMakers and legendary tier, and then go build 50 more at core, when you could be worrying about your lineups that you're spending $10,000 to $250,000 on, depending on how much of a nosebleed high roller player you are playing on daily fantasy on DraftKings on a main slate. You're just not doing it. You're going to take one day, you're going to set a few lineups that you have in ReignMakers, and then you're going to study on the big money stuff over here. So the high dollar players are not going to grind core and rare games in ReignMakers. Now, the BS, bad faith, nonsense argument, well, there's nothing stopping them from doing it. Time and resources and logic are stopping them from doing it. Awesemo has been like the #1 RG ranked player in daily fantasy for like the last 7 years or whatever, right? He spends 6 figures every Sunday on main slates, I'm gonna guess, right? He's got a lot of money out there every single main slate. He is not gonna sit there and spend 2 hours making core lineups to maybe he can win another $500 to $2,000. He ain't doing it. It's not gonna happen. But like, it's difficult to convince people of what they don't want to be convinced about. But for those of you who are somewhat interested in the game, ReignMakers specifically, if I'm wrong about that, like, look, I'm gonna have a lineup or two in core or in rare because like I got time now. There's 3 weeks. I don't have to push out that much content. My family's in Chicago. I've made a couple lineups. I'm not gonna build 50 of them though. You think they'll add a burn feature eventually? We'll be interested to burn like 10 cores or whatever, then you get a rare pack. So like, my understanding of what DraftKings is going to do is if you are playing at rare and core, you're going to win elite level cards. Like, there's going to be ways to ladder up from core to rare, from rare to elite, from elite to legendary. There's going to be, they want you playing in more tiers. They want you to want to go get more packs. Like, they're going to give you higher tiered cards. Burns on the docket sounds like it's there for next year to burn 2022 cards to gain 2023 things. That's what I think. They've said as much. They've intimated as much. They have not given us a detailed roadmap on exactly how that's going to operate, but I think that's what's going to happen. You know, that's essentially what's going to happen. It's like they're going to have, because another big question, are the cards done after this year? So the other communities that you have that just kind of understand this aspect is the Ultimate Team community. If you played FIFA Ultimate Team or Madden Ultimate Team before, you're like, yeah, the cards are just going to be gone. I have zero expectation that any cards that I get in FIFA Ultimate Team 22 or Madden Ultimate Team 22 are going to be allowed for me to use or help me build teams in 2023. It's just like, you're going to spend all the money you're going to spend and all the time that you're going to spend to build your roster and build your team and build your collection and, you know, whatever, and then nothing. Then the new game comes out and everything goes away and you're back to ground zero and you got to start building again. You're basically Sisyphus. Wasn't he the one that had to push the rock? I want to get this right. It was Sisyphus, right? Prometheus had his guts eaten out by a bird every day. That was his punishment from the gods. But Sisyphus had to push the rock up the hill. Then every day the rock rolled down the hill and he had to push the rock back up the hill. That's Ultimate Team. Every year you push the rock up the hill. You get to the top by the team of season. Everything's done. And then it rolls down the hill. And then next year you got to push the rock up the hill again. So for people who are Ultimate Team players coming to ReignMakers, they're like, yeah, next year I'm just going to have to push the rock up the hill again. DraftKings is actually giving us some sort of burn mechanism. They're going to give you games. There'll be smaller games than the 2023 games, but there will be a smaller game, right? For you to play some 2022 lineups or cards or whatever. But I would think that the main thing that they're going to do is this burn mechanism. You can burn your cards and then like you burn X amount of cards that are worth X amount of points. And those points will get you packs. Can't unlearn what Prometheus had to do now. Yep. 1 sec. I need this water now. DK makes a cut of resells too. 5% goes to the NFLPA. 5% goes to DraftKings off any secondary market sale. So yeah, 10%. But DK isn't making 10%. DK is making 5%. The Players Association makes 5%. You look at the prices offered in core rare contests that are ×2 in week 1. They didn't seem particularly enticing considering the big investment needed in cards. I don't think it's a big investment, but I guess that's relative. Is making coin feasible in this mode, do you think? Yes. Yes, I do. And I have detailed all of the ways that I think that you should be trying to go about making money in ReignMakers in the NFT HQ, !HQ. It is the token locked part of our Discord for NFTs. There is an entire folder. There is an NFL ReignMakers folder or NFT ReignMakers folder. And then right below it, it's NFT ReignMakers Invest, where I'm the only one who can type in that folder. And it's everything that I have learned the last 10 years, 12 years of playing Ultimate Team and market dynamics in so many different video games, all of which I am always super rich. You can ask literally anybody. Ask Frostbite how good I am at making money in video games. Any video game that has a market, I just get it, you know? So now you're telling me that this game has a market, but instead of earning in-game currency that's worth roughly $0, I get to earn many dollars. All of the same market dynamics that exist in FIFA Ultimate Team are going to exist in this. Every single one. They're all going to work. And I've posted my thoughts so far. Some are overarching of process-based, how you should be attacking, building, buying, or selling, and others are more specific. these are the players I think you should buy right now with a window of selling at this time. But like, also Sitruck, welcome to the chat. First time chatter. Thank you for coming. I built a top 10 core lineup. I didn't build it. I searched the market and priced it out in the Discord. It would cost $45 to make a super week 1 lineup. And those cards don't disappear. You could play those cards absolutely every week. Hell, you could sell them at the end of week 1. You play the cards, you cash or you don't, and then you can liquidate the cards on the market. It's not the mistake that DFS players are making, in my humble opinion, is approaching this game as though the only way to make money off of it is through the games and the contests. You will make more money more consistently by understanding and knowing how to approach the market and having a plan than you will by playing the games. 99.9% of people. Coin is feasible to make, and the season hasn't even started. I saw 2 or 3 people in Discord who said that they bought cards at this price and then sold them into the hype at this other price and made like 5x on their investment. People are already blowing up their bankrolls preseason in a good way, like expanding, growing their bankroll. If you were to liquidate your collection for minimum prices, for the floor prices, you'd be up $700. And we haven't even hit the tsunami yet. There's a tsunami coming, chat. I know that most people don't know the stuff that I know when it comes to traffic. I give you guys the behind the scenes look pretty often about, like the content creator stuff we were talking about at the beginning of this show, how guys have built their followings, ways that you can attack an algorithm, certain things that are more valuable than other things that are less valuable. But like, when it comes to the NFL and the way traffic works in the NFL, it's a slow build from August 1 to August 31. There's more and more people that come in every week over week through August. But the week of week 1, and week 1 starts, right? So week 1 is kickoff is Thursday, September the 8th. The Monday is the 5th. That's 13 days from now. The traffic's going to build pretty steadily from now until the 5th. And then on the 5th, it's going to 5x. I say this having done content, this being my 11th season, and having all the data from the last 7 of those, knowing that there is a tsunami of people coming that are going to dive into DraftKings, FanDuel, DFS, and then also ReignMakers that week of week 1. So ReignMakers right now, its marketplace is operating with 4 to 5 times less individuals than it's going to operate with once that first week gets here. So if you've already got some lineups and you've already made some investments and you're already seeing like some people like, yeah, if I liquidated right now, I'd make money. There's clearly variance in packs. Packs are gambling. There's clearly ways you can lose money on this game. Injuries are going to suck. Season-ending injuries will suck, especially at the highest levels. If you spent $10,000 or $15,000 on a card and that guy tears his ACL in week 1, F's in the chat. There's nothing like, unless DraftKings does something, they have to have something in place other than just, sucks to suck, right? You'd think that there has to be something other than sucks to suck. Yeah, the Kevin Hart commercials running during preseason games. That's my long 2 cents on ReignMakers and what I think is going to happen. They're putting big bucks behind this project. They have a $50 to $60 million budget on this project. That's not a small amount. They are willing to spend on this thing. They want this to be successful, and they're going to do everything that they can to make this be a huge thing, because So Rare is thriving and soccer is not as big, and soccer is not as big in America, and they don't have an EPL contract. They do not have the Premier League. At least last I checked. It's mostly like the German league, it's La Liga, it's other leagues. They don't have the EPL. You can put together a pretty darn good week 1 team for $35. That's my point. And everybody on DraftKings gets a free pack, like a starter pack. I agree, GA. I think fast sometimes, and my brain goes faster than my mouth. So like, if you're an ultimate team player that's coming over to play this game, to play ReignMakers, you're used to it. Honestly, I think DraftKings would be super smart. I don't know if they're doing it. They'd be super smart to pay the biggest Madden Ultimate Team content creators on YouTube to make 1 to 2 ReignMakers videos a week. Paid promotion. whether on live stream or on-demand videos. Go get those dudes, because that's an audience that would immediately understand the game, would come over and try it out, is used to spending money on digital packs, and feels that they have an edge on everybody else, has a high correlation from Madden players to fantasy football players, are used to playing a market, but now instead of using in-game coin currency, would use real money to do it. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see how it works out. I personally think ReignMakers is going to be a big thing, but when it comes to NFTs, if you guys have been in the NFT Discord, you know my statement. This is kind of what I think. It could all go to zero tomorrow. I don't think ReignMakers is going to go to zero tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
He's a legend.